What's that? This just in. We're hosting a live stream kickoff show to usher in Hug Girl Summer!
I can't snort like you can. I'm kind of jealous.
Well, I'll teach you at our live show.
Amazing. So join us on June 1st. This is a Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for an evening of summer-inspired true crime cases.
Yeah, Lucy and I are each doing a case.
Yes,
A full-blown
doing
case. Yeah.
This is gonna be like an old school wine and crime show. And if you've missed us,
we're back.
Here we are, baby. We're also gonna have cocktails, some Midwest dip recipes.
I can't wait to see what you whip up in the dip department.
Literally whipping it up.
Yep.
We're gonna have cats. We're gonna have babies. We're gonna have special announcements. We're gonna have so much more. We're going to be within a stone's throw of my oddities cabinet, so who knows?
Who knows who or what will make an appearance?
Exactly. Could be anything. This is a full-blown virtual live show, and you do not want to miss it.
I personally am working on a Hog Girl Summer craft cocktail that can be done with or without alcohol. It's going to be very versatile. I cannot wait to share the recipe with y'all a little early so you can get your ingredients, and then we can do a whole tutorial at the top of the show to make our cocktails together.
We're going to make our dips together too, baby.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. We might have a little cooking show moment.
Well, we love snacks.
We do love snacks.
So tickets are $15 and include online replay. So if you're nervous that you're not actually available at that specific time, don't worry.
Don't worry.
Get your tickets now at wineandcrimepodcast.com.
And we cannot wait to kick off the summer with you, Hogs!
See, I'm bad at it.
That was so cute. Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Yes, we certainly do.
We do. I'm Lucy.
Oh, I'm Amanda.
Well, we've got a fun one for you today. It's very seasonally topical.
My contribution to this episode is not fun.
Oh, God.
It's
Again.
bad. Yeah. But I tried to put on a fun outfit that would be on brand with what we're recording today.
You're kind of camp counselor-y.
Yeah. 90s camp counselor. All I need are some friendship bracelets and necklaces and one of those cool girl beaded lizards.
Yes, and a whistle around your neck.
Oh, I wish I had a whistle. I have this. I'll just blow on my wine key.
I had a whistle when I taught sailing summer camp.
I
bought it myself because no one told me I couldn't have it.
Mm-mm.
And I used that shit religiously. I
love that.
I felt so powerful with a whistle.
Yeah, it is a powerful little tool.
Especially
just
with
us.
Little kids. They really respond to a whistle. They
Children
also respond
to a whistle.
They also respond to this. See?
I couldn't not respond. It was hurting me not to.
It's a call and response.
Ta tee ta.
Oh my God.
Watermelon rest. It's fine, guys.
You are
ta tee ta.
ta tee ta ta.
My cousins and I do that all the time, just randomly, just ta tee ta. Watermelon rest.
So you are a camp counselor.
Yeah, never officially. Did you do summer camp, really? Also, the topic is summer camp crimes.
Oh, yeah. Very special fan pick brought to you by Radiance Ford, which is a hell of a name
Hell of a name for a hell of a coven member.
Yep. So Radiance Ford has chosen summer camp crimes.
I never did like sleepover camp. My case will be very triggering for my sister, who was sent to like a Girl Scout sleepover camp when she was around the age of these kids, and she hated it, and she would send like letters every day to my parents, like begging to come pick her up.
Hello, Mutta. Hello, Fada.
But there's like more to the story about how mom and dad like weren't taking into account that it would take several days for the letters to arrive. And so a lot of parents, I think, had written letters like ahead of time to make sure their kids were getting mail. And so all these kids were getting mail, and Ashley wasn't getting any mail and was like, they've forgotten me. They're never going to come back. So she started writing like pleading letters to my Grandma Helen and Grandpa John, being like, Mom and Dad left me here and forgot all about me. Will you come pick me up? And like they wrote back.
Your parents were cruel.
I think they did write back, but the letters were just delayed.
I'm sure they did. Ashley's just being a dramatic 8-year-old.
Probably. But it also rained like every day. I did day camp. I didn't do sleepover camp.
I did day camp too. I was a day camp
at a local park.
Slut. Yeah.
I bet.
Nature camps, sailing camps. I went to church camp with a friend.
I did
French
that once
camp.
for like 1 week. I think that's the only sleepaway camp I ever did. It was like a Bible study camp one year. I was in middle school.
I wasn't into the sleepover camp. I wanted to sleep in my own bed.
I did like doing light as a feather, stiff as a board in the bunk, though.
Okay.
I remember that from church camp.
From church camp?
Yeah.
Where you learned witchcraft.
Where I taught witchcraft. Because I had seen the craft. And everyone around me was this little Lutheran pussy. And I was like, we're going to do light as a feather, stiff as a board. And then one of the boys at church camp fell in love with me and gave me sterling silver heart earrings.
Nice.
Yeah, I could have bagged a husband that week. It might have only been a long weekend. I don't think it was even a whole week of church camp. I just left a mark.
Yeah, you usually do.
I usually do. In my shorts.
Always leaving marks in my shorts.
Yep.
The only sleepover camp I did was a French camp, but that was like 2 nights maybe.
Yeah, you guys did that Concordia weekend or whatever. Yeah. Tons of people from our middle school and high school did that.
Does Wolf Ridge count? 6th grade Wolf Ridge?
I don't think so, because that was a weekend field trip. It wasn't camp.
Yeah, it wasn't really
We did
camp.
it during
Although
the school
we were
year.
in the woods the entire time.
We were in the woods, but we weren't camping. But also, I just wouldn't classify it as camp. It was an overnight school trip. It was during the school year.
Yeah.
So I don't think
different.
It
well,
but
technically French
Wolf Ridge
camp
does
was
have
too.
camps.
Anyway, the camp. So we were the day camp kids. No overnight, none of that.
Not really.
But also Scott got sent to an overnight camp when he was younger, and I think his mom kept his letters that he wrote because they were the same, like pleading.
Please
and
come
like,
get me.
Why the fuck did you send me here? This is awful.
Do you hate me this much?
Yeah. I haven't shit in 5 days, Mom.
Because you know I can't do that out here in the wilderness.
No.
I'll be mauled.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
I can't.
Okay. So summer camp crimes.
Thank you, Radiance.
Little bit darker than
holy shit.
You'd think.
You are not ready.
And I have a case for us too, which is also pretty dark.
Great.
So let's kick it off with our wine crime pairing, Amanda.
Well, I wanted to do a twist on a classic summer camp staple. Bug
chocolate
juice.
milk. Oh, bug
my
juice.
God. Yish. It's just a chocolate milk. What are they called? White Russian.
Oh, yum.
That would actually be pretty good, but
That'd be delicious.
Summer camp drink was bug juice. And
Absolutely.
if anybody didn't have bug juice, it was basically just strawberry Kool-Aid or a similar red powdered drink mix, a butt ton of sugar, some like lemonade.
Like additional, just like white sugar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And some people had like different recipes for it, but a lot of times it was like a strawberry lemonade. Like you could make it with strawberry Kool-Aid, lemonade. That's like where some of the sugar comes in, because some people would do their own like homemade lemonade. But at camp, we would have like a Kool-Aid packet, a fucking like old home country, whatever lemonade packet.
Country home.
Country home.
Or country time.
Country time lemonade packet, sugar, water in those plastic jug things, like pitchers.
Yeah.
And there'd be like one on every lunch table, just sugar bomb bug juice for the midday.
I always pictured bug juice as being green.
Well, there's different variations of it because you could change the color and the flavor profile depending on what kind of flavor profile depending on what kind of Kool-Aid packet you use.
Okay.
So some people did the green Kool-Aid packet. You could do blue bug juice. Like you could do kind of whatever.
Okay. Wasn't Bug Juice also like a Disney Channel original movie or something like that?
I think so. But there are recipes out there for like slightly elevated versions of bug juice. So for this cocktail, strawberry Kool-Aid is still highly recommended as kind of your base. So part of the reason that you add the sugar is because the Kool-Aid powder, at least the old school Kool-Aid powder, isn't sweetened. So you would do like a powder packet and then like a cup of sugar to make it actually like palatable because it's pretty tart. So you can adjust the sugar content of it. You can do fresh strawberries or frozen, which I did put together something similar. I did frozen strawberries, lemon juice, and water.
Yum.
I didn't have a Kool-Aid packet, so I went to the gas station and got like a Hawaiian Punch Kool-Aid can and did that as my base. And I did a splash of water. I did frozen strawberries, lemon juice, and then I just put vodka in mine, but I recommend Kettle One Citron.
Yum.
I was looking through some of their the Kettle One Botanicals recommendations. I really need them to expand their Kettle One Botanicals line. Like, Lord, hear my fucking prayer.
Those are so good.
They're so good. But that right now, the two that they have available are more of like a cucumber mint, which could work well if you muddled some mint in with your bug juice cocktail.
Mm-hmm. You can't just go straight in though. You got to temper it a little. You can't just go
straight in. Yeah, you'd have to adjust your garnish. The other one is like a more peach flavor. So I just feel like that would be competing, but you're already putting lemon juice in this bad boy. So you may as well just do your shot or 2 or 3 of lemon vodka. And then I did frozen strawberries and ice in a little jar.
Oh my God, you're so cute.
Ain't she cute?
Also, I feel like I'm in my strawberry summer.
You are, because of Junie, and it's the cutest in the world.
That, and also just the flavor. I've just been really into the flavor of strawberries, especially as a beverage, like a strawberry juice.
It's fucking good.
I have strawberries in my fridge right now, and they're not even like
they're not in season yet, but they're also not gross.
I mean, I'm proud of myself for having fruit in my house that hasn't already gone bad.
I'm proud of that too. We mostly do frozen because Bill's a big smoothie boy. But I like frozen fruit for like treats and for cocktails. And it's really fun to do frozen fruit, like half frozen fruit, half ice in a summer cocktail. It's the best.
Or freeze the fruit into an ice cube.
Oh, that would work. That's what I've got. Cheers.
Cheers. I got my huge old Stanley because it's 2:30 p.m.
Yeah, I don't have anything going on after this. So I was like, fuck it. I don't have a kid to pick up.
I do. And I wish I was drinking strawberry booze instead.
This is very, very good.
That sounds so good.
It's very fucking good.
Also, I Googled Bug Juice. It was a reality series on Disney that aired in 1998.
It was reality?
I don't recall it being reality, but also I wasn't
11. A Disney Channel girl.
We didn't have cable. My dad wouldn't get us cable.
We were a Nickelodeon family. But
yeah.
And some Cartoon Network. Anyway.
3 seasons of it.
Oh, my word.
I'm picturing it like Kid Nation, which, as we know, didn't turn out that great.
Listen, no situation wherein we put children on television and make them the like main breadwinners for their household ever turns out great in predatory Hollywood. Are we surprised?
No.
All right. Well, I'm very scared to dive into this topic. So before we do, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors and then get back to hear from you, Lucy.
All right.
Spring has sprung, and so have all the hairs on my body.
My follicles have sprung.
They've sprung, okay? They are growing. And, you know, I, with that growth, have urges now to show off my super smooth skin that I had been trying to diligently moisturize all winter long to prepare to see the sun for the first time ever. So as temperatures rise, so does the frequency of, you know, bare-legged, bare-pitted outfits, okay? But fear not, because we've got the perfect solution to keep your hairy spots smooth and ready for springtime adventures. And I know you've heard about Athena Club by now, because we've definitely talked about it. But this is your official sign to finally try it. Athena Club's award-winning TikTok viral razor kit is worth the hype, and you need to try it to believe it.
I just had my everything shower yesterday, so I can freshly, smoothly vouch for Athena Club. First of all, the quality. Athena Club's razors glide effortlessly thanks to 5 precision-engineered blades. They're really super moisturizing. They've got a water-activated serum with hyaluronic acid. It's great for your skin. Plus, it even has built-in skin guards that help prevent razor burn and reduce irritation. I almost always, slice my legs up with a new razor. This one was brand new. It's super sharp, and I didn't cut myself a single time. And that is an achievement.
That's huge. I always get razor burn under my arms, and I didn't with this razor, and it's been a miracle.
Yeah, and my skin just feels super soft. And I would be remiss not to mention the incredible price, because the Athena Club razor kit is an absolute steal at $10. And the last time I bought even refills for the razor that I had previously, it was significantly more than that. But don't just let the price fool you. This razor does feel expensive. It comes with an ergonomic handle. It's really attractive. Amanda and I both have the coral colored one.
Yeah, we do.
It's just like a cute little bathroom accessory. It's gorgeous. It's got 2 super sharp razor heads that delivers an incredibly smooth shave every time. And you also get the game-changing magnetic hook for easy storage, so you don't have to worry about your razor crashing to the shower floor and the head popping off, which is my biggest headache with my old razor. No more goopy blades, no more letting it sit on the very questionable side of your shower for Lord knows what to crawl into it. Also just keeps your shower better organized. So if you still think that all razors are created equal and you haven't made the switch yet, you need to try Athena Club's razor kit. It is the best deal you'll get on a premium razor, and it'll keep you feeling confident in your own skin all year long. So show that skin, baby.
Ready to upgrade your shaving experience? Switch to the best razor on the market and show your skin you care with Athena Club. Head over to athenaclub.com to try their award-winning razor and body products and get 20% off your first purchase with code GALS at checkout. You can also find Athena Club razors at your local Target store. Trust me, you won't look back, and happy shaving.
When I first started using Rocket Money, I was in for a bit of a surprise because I was finding out things that I had subscribed for years ago, and I've been paying for them every month since then.
Yeah, it's wild.
I was not well. You will be amazed at how much you might be paying for, or you might be paying for even twice and not realizing it. So if you suspect, or even not, because I didn't suspect, but if you think you might have extra subscriptions and you just want to know where your money's going every month, like a real adult, you got to check out Rocket Money.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, we have full control over our subscriptions and a clear view of our expenses. So like their dashboard's so easy to use. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. And if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with a couple taps. Done. I love how the dashboard shows me this month's spending compared to last month. So
That's my favorite feature.
It's really nice. You can clearly see your spending habits. Plus, they help you create a custom budget and keep your spending on track. So like if you're saving up for something, this would be a great thing to have in your arsenal. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill and Rocket Money will take care of the rest. They deal with customer service for you. It's an actual miracle. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features.
Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/gals. That's rocketmoney.com/gals. One more time, rocketmoney.com/gals. And treat your spending.
Treat it. Okay, Lucy, what's our background in psych and a little taste of a case for summer camp crimes?
Oh, well, let me tell you. So when we're talking about a summer camp, the concept that we're discussing is known as organized camping.
Got it.
So this is a more recent thing, dates back to the late 1800s. Organized camping is defined as a, quote, sustained experience which provides a creative, recreational, and educational opportunity in a group living in the out of doors. It utilizes trained leadership and resources of natural surroundings to contribute to each camper's mental, physical, social, and spiritual growth.
Okay.
This idea of organized camping started with what's called the gunnery camp.
I don't like this already.
Well, it's a name. Frederick W. Gunn, Gunn, and his wife Abigail operated a homeschool for boys in Washington, Connecticut, and this school was known as the Gunnery School.
Okay.
So at the time, this is the 1860 Civil War.
It was 60s.
It was the 1860s. There was a civil war going on. And because of that, students wanted to march, fight, and live outdoors, just like these soldiers that they've heard stories about, like their soldier heroes who are off fighting.
Weird.
Weird, but, you know.
I get it, though.
Little white boys will be little white boys.
Uh-huh.
Frederick thought this would be a good opportunity for students to spend time in nature, do physical activities, and just generally build character. He took the whole school on a 2-week trip in 1861. They hiked to their destination and set up camp. The students spent their time boating, fishing, and trapping on this trip. It actually sounds really fun.
It sounds exactly like what your dad does every time he goes up north or to Alaska.
1,000,000,000%, yes.
Yep.
My dad runs his own gunnery school.
Yeah, pretty much.
This trip was so successful that the Gunns continued the tradition for 15 years. And because of this, Frederick Gunn is also known as the father of organized camping.
Okay.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yep.
Inspiring camps and outdoor programming for years to come. In the 1870s and 80s, the first summer camps promised, again, white boys, a chance to escape urban modern life.
Okay.
This was really interesting to me. According to History.com, until then, summers were for children to work, get a fucking job, or play in unstructured environments. And most of them lived like most people lived in rural environments. So their unstructured play was like, go outside.
Running around on the farm.
Come home before dark. Yeah.
Yeah, swimming in the pond.
Exactly. Since compulsory education laws came about in the 1880s, meaning laws saying your kids have to attend
go to school. You can't just have kids to work your farm.
Right. So because these laws came about in the 1880s, sometimes these activities weren't exclusive to the summer season. So maybe all year round, kids worked or were outside.
Sure.
However, as the U.S. became more industrialized and people moved into the more urban areas, the cities, moral reformers and educators started panicking. There's kids everywhere and they're working and playing and they're not, being structured members of society.
Right.
They thought that this new generation of children, especially boys, were missing out on character building and health promoting experiences of rural life because now they're in the city and it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Some even believed that these kids were, quote, dying of indoorness.
Okay.
And summer camp was seen as a solution to all of this.
I am also dying of indoorness, but it's of my own choice.
I'd say I'm relishing in indoorness.
Yeah, I would agree. Thriving in indoorness.
Keep the skin porcelain pale.
Keep it really translucent. So it's
Translucent.
easy when they need to put in an IV. I'm doing this for you.
I can see your veins from across the room.
Yup. Got him. Got him.
These early summer camps targeted middle-class urban boys who it feared were being mollycoddled by overbearing...
That's poppycock.
This is so sexist. And again, this is from history.com, not from me. So they're being mollycoddled by overbearing mothers and female teachers in the overly feminized realms of home and school.
I agree.
They're not being boys.
That's how you get serial killers. Mollycoddling and overbearing mothers.
And feminization.
Mm-hmm.
So people overall thought that these boys needed a dose of savagery or else they would become sissified.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That was a lot of problematic shit in one sentence.
Yeah.
In like 4 words. Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't choose these words.
I want to be sissified.
I feel like I'm fully sissified.
Sissify and slay, baby.
I am sissified as Sisyphus. In 1876, the first private camp was founded by Dr. Joseph Trimble Rothrock, who was
What a
an
name.
American environmentalist. The North Mountain School of Physical Culture was located near Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, for about $250 or boop, 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 time money converter, $7,250.61 in today's currency. Boys from Philadelphia and Wilkes-Barre could attend the camp for 4 entire months over the summer.
Wow. I mean, sending your kids away for 4 months.
A parent's dream.
Could be appealing for some folks who just need a little break.
And like if these people are living in cities, I don't know what the deal with Wilkes-Barre is, but Philadelphia, urban center, you don't need your kids to work on the farm.
No.
You kind of just want them out of your fucking face. So
and give them an opportunity to connect with each other in green space and run around and fucking be kids.
Exactly.
I can see that. I mean, I don't have any problem with summer camp as a concept. I think that if kids are into it or feel ready to go, it can be a super valuable experience. I think that obviously, as in anything, there are so many class disparities in terms of access. Like camp, even day camp is so expensive now that a lot of families...
It's prohibitive
with
to a lot of people.
With 2 full-time working parents could barely fucking afford it, which is too bad because it really can be such a cool experience for these kids and provide, I mean, much needed respite for these parents who still have to fucking work all summer.
And a lot of people who did go to like summer camps, like overnight all summer camps, those are like their best memories.
Oh, I know. I have a handful of very good friends who were total camp kids. And these are still some of like their closest friends. One of our friends from high school got married on their former campground. Like these were really foundational, like you said, core memories.
Who got married?
And yeah, it's too bad that it's so, it was.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the prohibitive nature of the cost is really fucking frustrating.
Well, we'll kind of get to that a little bit too. Okay, so 4 months over the summer. According to Dr. Rothrock, the camp's purpose was to take the, quote, weekly boy out into camp life in the woods so that the pursuit of health could be combined with the practical knowledge outside usual academic lines.
You need to watch the Pawnee Goddesses episode of Parks and Recreation. It's so funny. And basically what you're describing right now is like the camp that Ron Swanson puts together. And it's like the boys are given like a box with a piece of tarp, a hammer and like a wooden stake in it. And they're like, and he's like, go forth, figure it out. You enter boys, you will leave men.
Well, they're just like 12-year-old boys.
They're these tiny little boys. And then in the cabin across the way, Leslie's doing Camp for the Pawnee Goddesses. And they're having like a puppy party and doing crafts and eating candy. And like, so all the boys like defect from Ron's camp and go join the Pawnee Goddesses. It's really funny. You love this show. I will never stop.
I just need to have. I need to have the flu.
Yeah, you do. I'll give that to you.
Okay, you kind of did a couple weeks ago.
Listen, I warned you.
I know you did. It was fair. Okay, take the weekly boys out into camp life in the woods. In 1881,
The weekly boys.
I know it's sad. Dartmouth dropout Ernest Balch.
Okay, well, tag yourself.
Founded Camp Chocorua.
Okay.
Located in Squam, New Hampshire. Balk? I don't know.
It's Balch.
I think Balch sounds so gross. That's what I'm going to say. Balch founded the camp to mold wealthy adolescent boys into hardy, responsible, independent, and resourceful youth. Mm-hmm. He did this by providing no servants, no class distinctions, and no snobbery in his camp's small, democratic, sharing community.
Wow.
They're kind of like little mini societies, and all of these camps kind of have like slightly different goals for these weekly boys. These weekly white boys.
Yeah, truly.
In 1885, Camp Dudley became the first summer camp founded by the YMCA, so the Young Men's Christian Association. The camp was founded by a 30-year-old volunteer named Sumner Francis Dudley, with the help of 2 YMCA associates in Westport, New York, on the shores of Lake Champlain.
How did I not know that the C in YMCA is for Christian?
What did you think it was?
I don't think I ever thought about it. Children's?
Young Man and Children's Association?
Young men's clubs and associations? Courtship association? I never thought about it. And I've been singing that song since I was a kid.
That it's ironic that this gay icon Village People band is singing about the Young Men's Christian Association.
I have to imagine that they knew exactly what they were doing when they put that hit, absolute banger together.
I think they wrote it because YMCAs have like maybe always been like a cruising destination.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that.
That's what I took out of YMCA once I was old enough to think about it.
I appreciate you extracting the message that resonates with you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, Lake Champlain. Dudley became known as the father of YMCA camping. It is the oldest continually operating camp in the United States.
Wow.
But they did kind of amicably part ways with the actual YMCA in 2015.
Okay.
And I also found their cheer, so I'm going to perform their cheer for you now.
OMG. Okay.
DUDLEY, whitewashed cookies, chicken pie, pink music, pickerel fry. Westport, Westport, my oh my. All ye campers stand in line. Take your hats off just like mine. Bevo, bivo, boom. Get a rat trap bigger than a cat trap. Bevo, bivo, boom. That's it. I don't think I have the rhythm down.
I feel like you didn't. It's giving trying to remember the Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah. Trying to conjure them up from complete scratch because I'd never heard them before.
I get it. That was a valiant effort and I honor you.
I'm not a songstress and I've never claimed to be.
You are very good at using Songfinch, though. I'll tell you that.
I am good at using I'm good at paying others to be songstresses for me.
Yes.
Also, one of the Winklevoss twins went to the Camp Dudley.
Really?
Yeah, only one. I thought that was weird that only one of them went, but
they separated them.
Probably. Okay, so during this time, there were also camps for girls. So the YWCA, which, if you can imagine, stands for Young Women's Christian Association.
mind blown.
Was a pioneer in the field of camping for women in America and the first organization to provide vacation programs for industrial women workers.
Women in STEM.
Mm-hmm. In 1874, the YWCA held its first camp called Sea Rest in Asbury Park, New Jersey. The camp was considered the YMCA's vacation project for, quote, tired young women wearing out their lives in an almost endless drudgery for wages that admit no thought of rest or recreation.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we deserve the respite, but my God.
They just
very
wanted to
specific.
I know.
And if they're not here for this, you are not invited.
I feel like a common theme with these early camps are like putting down their prospective campers in a way.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
This
weekly
almost sounds-
boys of sissiness and
The women's camp almost sounds like a fucking labor movement. Like those gals are going to start a union by the end of that shit.
probably
I love that.
it was for like adult women.
Incredible.
Yeah. In 1892, Camp Array in Array, New York, Arey,
Sure.
Arey, New York, became the first camp to admit girls, like at all. And by 1902, the camp was serving girls exclusively.
Okay.
No boys allowed.
Pawnee goddesses.
Several other camps for girls were founded in 1902, including Camp Kahonka, in New Hampshire, Pinelands of Center Harbor in Maine, and Wyanagonic camps in Denmark, Maine. So far, these are all on the East Coast.
Well, yeah, and it's very much a staple of summer camp for it to be like run and founded by white folks using indigenous regional names.
Or at least indigenous sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely problematic.
Yeah.
And like all the imagery
Well, especially,
and
teepees and I mean, I, as a kid, was enrolled in camp activities like that. And I had no idea how problematic that was. And looking back now, it's like, oh, Lord.
I think most people didn't have a full concept of how problematic that, most white people anyway.
Certainly when we were children, we weren't being taught about this.
No.
So, no.
Many of these camps aimed to cultivate virtuous young women who resisted the temptations of, quote, the new woman who challenged societal norms.
Ooh, those
Libs.
what is it? Those hairy, no skirt wearing hippie libbers.
They're all on the pill.
That's why we Lutherans use grape juice for the blood of Christ.
Yeah, so it's like this weird, like, hearkening back to a different time.
Yep, the good old days.
The good old days.
Family values, working the farm.
For boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping them in what the older generations are sort of used to. Resisting change.
Mm-hmm.
But, that can be really fun for kids. Because it's, like, very simple and there's not a lot of oversight. And the people who are watching you are, like, 5 years older than you.
Yup.
And that makes it really fun.
Severely underpaid teenagers.
Yep. Well, maybe not so underpaid, and we'll get to it.
Oh, dear.
By 1918, there were more than 1,000 summer camps in the United States. But as the camps became more popular, their commitment to nature lessened. Camps began to show movies, listen to the radio, and give sporting lessons unrelated to nature, such as tennis.
Oh, it's too modern. This is so risque. What's next? Pickleball?
Definitely. Camps became tiny societies of their own. Children learned how to balance their needs as individuals and groups and to be helpful citizens. And groups excluded from these camps, such as Black and Jewish Americans, for example, established their own camps to provide recreational, social networking, and cultural opportunities for themselves.
Yep.
By the 1930s, summer camps had become such an essential American rite of passage that, this is nuts, funds from the New Deal expanded to finance children's summer camps even through the Great Depression.
Wow.
So there were like federal monies to keep kids going to camp.
Mm-hmm.
During World War II, the camps began to take on their modern form and aimed to prolong and protect childhood innocence. That's nice. Mm-hmm. They became places where kids could explore their interests, such as the arts, sports, or outdoor lives. According to the American Camp Association, there are over 16,000 camps in the U.S. today.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, those are camps that are all like registered, because I know that neighborhoods will sometimes have like neighborhood camp where like it's basically just babysitting. Teenagers in the neighborhood will put together activities and the kids will hang out with them for a few hours during the day to give parents like a little break. But that's not like a above board, like full blown camp.
Totally
not. It camp. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just like a block party.
Yeah. But it would be like for a week, X amount of hours a day with activities. I mean, it functions as a camp. It's just not like
a camp.
A registered, like legitimate camp.
Yeah.
But I like the creativity of community and neighborhoods. I think it's very cool and cute.
I do too. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a neighborhood sleepover thing where they'd like pitch tents in someone's backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like all the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, we did that a couple times in Connecticut, I think. And I think we almost got sprayed by a skunk.
Cute. That's so fun.
Ugh.
According to Bloomberg, summer camps have become a $3.5 million industry, which seems really low to me.
Yeah, considering how expensive a lot of these camps are. That does seem low.
Yeah, surely that's not billion, but 3.5 million. I don't know. And this number has been steadily increasing since the 2020 pandemic because kids are going back to camp.
Right.
In the U.S., the sector serves about 26 million campers annually, and that's equivalent to about 30% of the total U.S. population of school-aged students.
Wow.
30%.
That's a lot of kids that go to camp. Yeah.
I mean, this surely must include like the day camps and stuff like that.
For sure.
In 2023, it was estimated that camps employed 27,000 people and their salaries were the largest expenses reported by camps, because really, what else are you paying? Food.
Right. Infrastructure, maintaining cabins or whatever. But some of them don't even do cabins. It's just maintaining the grounds, and you actually camp in tents.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these like camps with like permanent bunks are super old. So you're spreading those expenses out over forever.
Yep. And they're closed for a lot of the year. But I mean, and then regulations change. They have to have certain on-staff security and health care, like a nurse now. And, you know, so like they've added stuff like that over time. But yeah, that makes sense that would be the largest expense, would be payroll.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit of background about camps. And
nice.
Now I have a little case for you.
Oh, dear.
And this is the story of Laura Lynn Ronning. So Laura Lynn Ronning was born in 1967 to Pat Gicking, that's her mom, and Curtis Ronning in Staten Island, New York. She had 2 brothers and 1 sister. From a young age, Laura had a preternatural gift for organization. She was born to be a camp counselor.
Love it.
She planned everything from Christmas caroling to wedding photos. Laura even took over her own Girl Scout troop for 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
She was also on the Suncoast Girl Scout Council in St. Petersburg. So she was into it, even when like the people that she was sort of like leading were her peers, her own age. But as she grew older, it became evident that children were her passion. People felt like she was absolutely destined to be a teacher, but she didn't have a way to pay for college. So instead, she took a job working as an assistant accountant at Allstate Insurance. Boring.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do.
I know. So there she befriended a woman named Julie McCain, who pushed her to leave her full-time job in favor of a part-time job at a local church preschool. She was like, listen, you're not going to make as much money, but this is like your destiny. You're going to be a lot happier. You can like work your way to your dream from there.
Oh.
So at this preschool, Laura could work with children and use her talents. So she paid her way through junior college and then earned a scholarship to study education at Florida State University.
Go girl, FSU.
And at FSU, Laura was said to always have craft supplies all over her room.
Oh my God, I love her.
She would have been a really good teacher.
Yeah.
She never got to be a teacher.
I had a feeling you were going to do this to me.
Mm-hmm. In 1991, 24-year-old Laura decided to take a job as a camp counselor at Camp Cayuga in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It's in Wayne County, if that means anything to anyone. So this was not her first year working there. The summer before, she had also worked there and had been in a cabin of 6- and 7-year-old girls with her best friend and co-counselor, a gal named Rhonda Parr.
God, these kids are so young going to sleepaway camp. I cannot imagine myself at 6 or 7 being ballsy enough to do overnight camp.
No, I can't imagine that either. But from Laura's perspective and probably Rhonda's perspective, wouldn't it be so fun to be in charge of a cabin with all of these little girls if you're the type to love children and crafting and all that?
Right. I mean, it would be such a fun and cool experience.
And your co-counselor is your best fucking friend.
Yeah. It'd be amazing.
That would be so fun. That'd be camp for you.
Oh, yeah. It'd be a blast.
But this summer in 1991, they decided not to be co-counselors so that they could get the same days off.
Oh,
so they were in different bunks, but then they'd have their days off together.
Mm-hmm.
So on July 27th, 1991, Laura celebrated her day off by hiking to Tanner's Falls. It was like a 20-minute hike from the camp. Rhonda was supposed to go with her, but at the last minute, she decided to join a group of other counselors who were going to use their last trip of the summer to go to the Jersey Shore.
Nice. That'd be me.
Yeah.
Hiking? No.
She's like, I think I'd rather go to the shore.
Yep.
Up the shore.
Down the shore.
Down the shore.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. It seemed like a perfect summer day for a hike. And like I said, it would have been like a 20-minute hike to the falls for her. Mm-hmm. So she took a backpack with her filled with just the essentials because she was only going to be gone for a few hours. Yep. She packed snacks, a drink, a towel, and a book.
Oh, that sounds idyllic.
I know. At about 11 a.m., Laura signed out of camp at the office. She ran into her bunkmate. So this was her co-counselor who she was sharing a cabin with, not her best friend, but still
someone who works there.
Bunkmate.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Ashley Summers. From there, the girls headed across the field to the narrow grassy path that would take Laura to the falls. They parted ways at the trailhead, and Ashley later told investigators that Laura's last words to her were, quote, "If I'm not back in 3 hours, call the cops." And that's just like something you say, like.
Yeah. No, I mean,
said
for
that.
sure, if you're going out hiking by yourself.
Just sort of like a call the cops if I don't never come back.
Oh, God.
So Laura did not return that night. Initially, camp counselors and staff conducted a nighttime search by flashlight, but they had no success.
That's really hard, yeah.
By 2 a.m., they had no choice but to call the police.
Oh.
To the police's only credit here, they responded immediately. And by dawn, dozens of professionals and volunteers had been searching the area. That same morning, the police informed Laura's mom, Pat, and her husband, John, who was Laura's stepdad, that she was missing. And Pat later said she had a feeling that her daughter was already dead.
Oh,
she had begged her not to return to Camp Cayuga and tried getting her other jobs closer to home. I
wonder why that is. If there had been danger or issues in the past to cause her mom that kind of concern, or she just in general was like, I don't know how I feel about this job.
I mean, this was according to a later interview, so maybe just emotions sort of and memories kind of changed a little bit, possibly.
Sure.
But as far as I know, this was like an idyllic camp setting. Like this occurrence really fucked up the community.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any reason for anyone to have been suspicious
unsafe.
or feel unsafe or anything.
Yeah.
But this was also in Pennsylvania, and her parents, I believe, still lived in Staten Island. So it's it's far away. She was probably just like, stay home.
Worried. Yeah, stay close.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. At 11:30 a.m. on July 28th, a little over 24 hours after Laura had left for her hike, her body was found tossed over the side of a dam and gruesomely posed in a sexually degrading manner.
Oh, no.
According to the forensics, on July 27th, so the previous day, by 12:10 p.m., so this was a little over an hour after Laura parted ways from Ashley, she was dead.
Oh, God. She got snatched up so fast.
Mm-hmm. Laura had been beaten, sexually assaulted, and shot in the head at point blank range with a .22 caliber rifle.
Holy shit. Someone was lurking and waiting to pick someone off. There's no way. Because they're not like hours from civilization, but they're secluded enough that you've got to be kind of keeping an eye on the area to get this opportunity.
Yeah.
So perfectly.
I don't think it's like a state park, but it's like a reserve. Like it's very
you're not down the street from a convenience store.
No. There's
You're
like some
out there.
There's like some roads going,
Sure.
And the reason why it took them so long to find her is just because it was in the middle of the fucking woods.
Yeah.
So Stan Pratt, captain of the local dive and rescue team, who was part of the search party, was the one to discover her body. He said, quote, "I got within about 30 to 40 feet of her. It was obvious there was nothing I could do. She was propped up against a tree at a very unnatural angle, and she was definitely gone."
Oh, my God.
Upon closer inspection, the police also discovered a small amount of blood within a few feet of the shell casing that they found that determined it was a .22 caliber rifle. So the blood would later be identified as Laura's. She'd been shot once in the left temple at close range and then dragged off the road. So she was close to a road and eventually shoved down the bank, like the river dam area.
Oh, God.
Just
and her
chucked.
poor friend and the survivor's guilt, she almost went on this hike and then ditched her friend. So you have those feelings of like, would she still be alive if we had safety in numbers, or would I be dead too if I had gone along with her? That's, girl, get therapy. That's tough.
In the following weeks and months following Laura's murder, law enforcement officials conducted an investigation. The Gickings trusted the Pennsylvania State Police, and they advised them not to go to the place where Laura's body was found, so they didn't. They stayed away from it.
Okay.
A year goes by. On the first anniversary of their daughter's death, the Gickings, I think that's how you pronounce it, Gickings, and other family members went to the site. Her stepdad, John, erected a cross that he had constructed out of rosewood in his basement workshop. I almost said barber shop. His basement workshop. The cross bears a brass plate that simply says, "Laura Lynn Ronning, murdered July 27th, 1991.
Oh, my. Imagine stumbling upon that while hiking.
I have a couple pictures of those, of the memorial on the drive, which will be on the blog.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I have no problem with it. I'm just imagining myself not being familiar with this story out in the area on a walk and being
murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of their grieving process.
Hey, no judgment, just my own fear.
So another year goes by.
Oh, God,
on the second
family.
I know. On the second anniversary, officials requested that the Gickings keep a low profile in Honesdale, which is the town where this happened, because the publicity could harm the investigation, which was at a sensitive stage. So they were like, don't rile anyone up. We're still working on it. We're still trying to find
another memorial.
Basically.
Oh, what a bunch of pricks.
So the family, again, respected the officials' request, but more months passed and the family heard very little from the state police. It felt to them like it wasn't being pursued diligently because they weren't in Honesdale. So there was no one there to keep the pressure on them.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the cops are like, no, we're working on it. Like, don't, stay
Stop
where
calling.
you are. Don't freak out. We're working on it.
Don't look over here.
Yeah. With financial support from a family friend, the Gickings hired a private investigator named Bob Horan, who was a former FBI investigator retired from the Scranton Bureau.
All right. The Electric City.
Haran only wanted to cooperate with the police and like gave them leads. He was trying to work with them.
Yep, trying to help.
But he started to become curious if they were even fucking doing anything with the information that he was feeding them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not a lack of communication that really tested the relationship between the Gickings and the state police. About 10 months after the murder, a trooper called the Gickings to ask the name of the funeral home where Laura's body had been taken so that this trooper could ask the funeral director if he remembered seeing 2 rings that were on her at the time of her death.
Okay.
So the problem was state police had assured the parents that the rings, one of which was a high school ring, like a class ring, and then another was a blue sapphire family ring.
Mm.
So the cops had assured the family that these 2 rings had been taken into evidence with her other belongings. They were like,
and that they could get them back one day.
They were also just part of the evidence.
Yeah. But now it's like, we don't have them. Did you see them, coroner?
Yep. So after the phone call, the police denied ever stating in the first place that they had possession of the rings. So one thing was for certain, the rings were missing, which meant that the police lost evidence, then lied to the parents, and were botching the investigation.
Yep.
According to Bob Jennings, who was the former coroner in Honesdale, there was a lot that went wrong with the investigation. So for one thing, the crime scene was completely trampled. They didn't cordon it off quickly enough or well enough. The autopsy was delayed. Responsibility for the investigation was passed through too many hands. So responsibility and accountability could just be passed on to the next.
Chain of command is all fucked up. Details get dropped.
Yep.
Things get lost in the shuffle.
There was also outside expertise that was rejected. So the state police were like, now we got it. We got it.
Probably including that private investigator.
Mm-hmm. And a search warrant was not executed for 15 fucking months after the murder.
What?
They did have suspects. One in particular. So the authorities denied all of these accusations. A guy named Mark Zimmer, who was then Wayne County District Attorney, told the Tampa Bay Times that the real reason they had not caught the killer was not incompetence, but because of the difficulties of the case. The crime scene was in the middle of 9,000 acres of state game land. The killer had a 24-hour head start, and there was no apparent motive for the murder. And as we know, random murders like this are very difficult to solve. Trooper Herman Todd, the lead investigator on the case, elaborated that the area was protected and no one was allowed to enter. He said that tests for clothing fibers, hair, and bodily fluids are, quote, automatic, but he didn't say whether such evidence had been recovered from the scene. So he was saying, like, of course we tested for this and this and this. Like, okay, then what were the results?
Right.
Crickets.
Yeah.
So officials claim to have ruled out 50 suspects. Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
But there were some leads that they seemed to have ignored. According to Rhonda, who was her best friend, 2 men had stalked her and Laura from town 4 days before the murder. She said the police never showed her pictures of suspects or anything. They never asked her who these guys were.
What the fuck? That's like Investigation 101.
Instead, investigators focused on a man named Jeffrey Plishka, who was the son of a New York City opera singer and whose parents lived in a home several miles north of Tanner Falls. One source I read they said that he had an IQ of 74 and that he was like known for being really weird and awkward, especially around women. He was just it seems like he was intellectually disabled.
Yeah.
Investigators saw him lingering around the falls the day they found Laura's body and asked him if he'd seen her the day before. He said yes, and he is the only person who has admitted to seeing Laura there. He told investigators that he had seen her as he passed by the falls in a truck, so he was on
the road.
But then he told investigators something odd. When shown a picture of Laura, Pliszka said that she was the person who he saw, but that she had not been wearing makeup like she was in the photo. And the investigators were like, how could you have known if she was wearing makeup from when you pass her from a moving vehicle and she's 120 feet away from the road?
Yeah.
So that was really suspicious. Still, as Jennings pointed out, the police let 15 months pass before they applied for a search warrant for Pliszka's home. Mm-hmm. When they finally had it, they seized 8 guns and miscellaneous ammunition from his home, but the ballistics test didn't match anything.
Okay.
In August of 2010, this is 19 years after Laura's murder.
Wow.
Then District Attorney Michael Lahutsky brought the case to trial, finally. He wanted to convict Pliszka of the crimes, but the case hinged on a mass of circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they have anything solid.
Pliszka had made statements like, quote, I hope I didn't kill that girl.
Oh, dear.
And, quote, I remember that fucking bitch never waved to me, which made him seem like a viable suspect. But again, there was never much physical evidence to tie him to the case.
Mm-hmm. And like, who is he allegedly saying these things to? Like, is he saying this to the police?
I don't know the context. I mean, he must have been if it was like a recorded like statement.
Sure, if it's a recorded statement, but if they're just saying he said it and they've been called out for
dropping the
ball on this investigation, and now they're just trying to throw this intellectually delayed individual under the fucking bus because they want to close the case. It's like, that's also a possibility.
Absolutely. Pliszka's attorney, Lee Krause, defended his client well, and the jury took less than 4 hours to come back with a not guilty verdict on all charges. This understandably upset the Gickings, and Pat told the Tri-County Independent that she would never set foot in Wayne County again, which is a promise she kept until her dying day in 2018. Oh. So as of now, over 30 years after Laura's murder, her death has not been solved and her killer has never been brought to justice.
Wow.
So it's still unsolved. But yeah, that's Laura's story.
Great.
Gotten a lot of unsolved cases lately.
Yeah.
Your favorite?
I mean, mine's not exactly wrapped up in a neat little bow either, though I'm pretty confident that the person we think did it, but we'll get to it.
Well, great.
Should we take a quick break and then come back and have it get even worse somehow?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Hello, cat parents. We are 2 devoted cat parents who are speaking directly to you right now, okay? We know you're obsessed with your cat or cats. We're obsessed with our cats.
Oh, yeah.
And I can freely admit, if you looked at my camera roll, it's 90% photos of beans.
Thousands.
Yeah, it's a lot. You give your cats the best, but if you're honest, sometimes you can struggle to keep the litter box clean. We all do, okay? But that's why we're here to tell you about Litter Robot. This has changed our lives.
This has absolutely changed the litter box game, and that wasn't so easy to change. I mean, that says a lot because this is like an age-old issue. So Litter Robot is the solution to all your litter box problems. You never have to scoop again with Litter Robot. It scoops for... It's a robot.
Yep.
The future is right now. Litter Robot's self-cleaning technology automatically cleans after every single use because you don't have time for that. But your cats love it, and your cats will always have a fresh bed of litter to do their business, and your friends won't think that your house smells like a litter box. I will confess right now that I was so excited when I got mine that I set it up in my kitchen.
Yep.
And it's like you wouldn't even know it's there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And get this, the Litter Robot will send a notification to your phone when it needs to be emptied. It can even give you data and insights to stay on top of your cat's health. It will weigh your cat for you.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible.
It doesn't get any easier than this, and your cat or cats will thank you. So join over 1 million happy pets and pet parents who have upgraded to the litter robot. What are you waiting for?
Literally, you take a bag out of a slot. It's that easy.
Like
That's it.
periodically. And you get an alert on your phone that
And you get
tells you
alert.
when it's time to do it.
That's like, hey, babe, take the bag out. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an issue. I don't feel the need to like extensively wash my hands afterwards. You know what I mean?
I literally can't believe how incredible this product is. We're obsessed. And as a special offer to listeners of our show, go to stopscooping.com/gals and enter promo code GALS to save an extra $50 on any litter robot bundle. That's an extra $50 off any litter robot bundle at stopscooping.com/gals and enter promo code GALS at checkout. One more time, stopscooping.com/gals and enter promo code GALS. And you know what? Treat you and your cat.
Treat them both. So yesterday, I was hanging
God.
out with a male friend of mine. And I was feeling all cute because I had like my little like denim, like indigo dyed like blouse on. And I never like dress up. And I wouldn't call that dressing up, but I was feeling cute. And this man asked me what the bump on my chest was, and I looked down and it was my big boob spilling out of my bra cup that he could see through my shirt.
No.
And he actually thought there was like something going on.
No! You should go to
And
the
that,
doctor.
my friends, is the last time I do not wear my Honey Love bra outside of the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Yikes.
Yikes. So what do you think about Honey Love? You might think about their shapewear, which is phenomenal. But they also have the most comfortable bras on the planet. And I don't know what, you know what? I do know what I was thinking. It was laundry day.
Oh.
That's why I wasn't wearing my Honey Love bra.
This happens.
So take it from me, the smoothing, the contouring, all of that stuff for Honey Love, whether it's shapewear, underwear, bras, anything, it does the thing. It does the trick. So they've got compression technology, they've got the smoothing technology, and they are also the only shapewear that won't ever roll down.
Yeah.
So if you're like dancing, if you're going out to have fun, you're moving around, it's gonna stick with you, literally. But that said, it's also really easy to take off, put on and take off. Honey Love shapewear features lingerie-inspired design details that you're gonna want to show off. It's also made from very breathable fabric, so it's perfect for summertime, perfect for those really hot days and like the outdoor weddings that come with them.
Yep.
And for a limited time only, you can get Honey Love on sale. So get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/wine, WINE. Support our show and check them out at honeylove.com/wine.
I love that your big boob told on you yesterday that you weren't wearing your Honey Love bra. That's my favorite.
To a man.
To a man, I know.
That's how intense it was.
Yeah, well, you'll never make that mistake again, and at least now the secret's out, and you can feel comfortable and well, the secret of your big boob.
The secret is out, as well as the top of my left boob.
Yeah, but we're gonna put it away and feel comfortable.
Tuck it away
this summer. Oh, not only with, like Lucy mentioned, Honey Love's incredible bras, but also one of my summer faves, Honey Love's best-selling Superpower short. I wear these under all my summer dresses just to keep me from chafing, and they keep me, it's breathable, it keeps me nice and cool, it keeps me, like, covered on my scooter. I'm obsessed. The Superpower short smooths, shapes, and lifts, giving you a flawless silhouette under any outfit. It's literally, y'all have seen my butt, okay? My butt is incredible. This thing is like a bra for your butt. It's incredible. You also won't have to worry about those shorts rolling down. Okay, this is unheard of in shapewear, and thanks to flexible boning that's hidden in the side seams. So it just stays up. But like Lucy said, it's also very easy to remove. The piece is a booty lifter. It has boost bands on the back of the thigh that give your bottom amazing shape. And when you're in the bathroom line, it has a 100% cotton gusset, so you don't have to wear undergarments underneath it.
I love that.
Yeah, you could just put these on, and it has a convenient opening in the panty area for super easy bathroom visits, but it's not like gaping open all the time. I don't know how they did this. The design is literally perfect. I'm obsessed. And it doesn't stop there because, like Lucy mentioned, Honey Love has more than just sculptwear. They have incredibly comfortable bras, tanks, and leggings for everyday support. I love their leggings. Honey Love is just as easy to put on as it is to take off. Shapewear shouldn't be hard. Their products make you look good and feel great, whether it's for a wedding, an event, an everyday boost of confidence, or just all around like summer comfort. Honey Love is the perfect plus one.
Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% at honeylove.com/wine. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/wine. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. The summer vibes are just getting started, honeys, so shape your life with Honey Love.
So, I know I've been like stepping up my dark case game, but
sure have.
My God, after this, I need to take a break on dark cases for a minute. So enjoy this because the next few are literally for my own well-being. I can't do this anymore. So buckle up. We are in our mind's eye going to Camp Scott Girl Scout Camp. This is a place where nothing bad should be allowed to happen. It's 400 acres of densely wooded forest in Locust Grove, Oklahoma, where girls go to learn about knots and s'mores and summer campy activities. Maybe they'll start a labor union.
That sounds fun. Mm-hmm. If I had to go to a sleepaway camp when I was younger, I would want it to be like an all-girls, like
a Girl Scout camp.
Like learn crafty, boy shit.
That's what my sister did, and she hated it. So you never know.
Well,
there was also a Boy Scout camp nearby, and kids would have some like combined activities and go back and forth. Very wholesome, nostalgic, woodland fun. Burgeoning young adults. They're not young adults. There's a range of ages at this camp. Some of them are really young. Some of them are like in their teens, obviously among like counselors and stuff like that. But it's just your run-of-the-mill sleepaway summer camp. You can just fucking smell the bug spray and the suntan lotion. Good, pure, lovely scene.
Yeah.
But this is a true crime podcast, so we can't have nice things. So we have to back up to get the full picture of this case. In June of 1966, a man named Gene Leroy Hart abducts two young pregnant women from a parking lot of a Tulsa, Oklahoma nightclub, driving them to nearby Mays County.
They were together?
Yes.
Oh my God.
They're just friends out enjoying some of their last nights of freedom before their children are born.
My first thought was, why are two pregnant ladies at a nightclub? Then I'm like, no, they're getting their last blast.
Yep. The last kicks. They're hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
They're not drinking. They're just hanging out, doing their thing.
I went out more in my last few months of pregnancy than I have in years.
Yeah.
And
you want to just get your kicks in.
Yeah.
These women were found bound, blindfolded, gagged, sexually assaulted, but miraculously alive in Mays County.
Jesus.
Like the next day.
Oh my God.
Both women wore eyeglasses, which some people suspect had something to do with them being targeted because this guy, Gene, seemed interested in their glasses and he would occasionally take other people's glasses and try out the prescription. Like he was also visually impaired but didn't have glasses of his own.
Weird. Also, if you were going to abduct me, all you'd have to do is take my glasses because I can't see shit.
Can't see past my hand in front of my face without my glasses.
Yeah.
I would have no idea who you are.
Mm-mm.
So this will kind of circle back, and it's just these weird little details that can end up being evidence. Like anything could be fucking evidence. So Gene Hart was caught. He was convicted and sentenced to a 3 and 10-year prison term, which he was asked to serve concurrently. And he got out after 28 months of serving for kidnapping, assaulting,
rape.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Young pregnant women. He then dives into the world of burglary. So he starts burgling around Tulsa and is arrested trying to burgle the home of a Tulsa police officer.
Good job, guy.
Upon his arrest, tons of evidence of other break-ins was found, but he is only able to be fully convicted of 4 of these break-ins, but there were several. It should be chillingly noted that this police officer was also a female, so he often targeted women. And because he was on parole at the time of these burglaries, and this was a cop, he's sentenced to 300 years for violent burglary.
Oh my, this is so unbalanced.
28 months for double rape and kidnapping, 300 years for burglary, one involving a cop. The law cares about property and not fucking people.
300 years.
Yeah, they just wanted him to never get out again, which, fine. The disparity is just sickening.
Mind-blowing.
So this motherfucker escapes from jail, is caught and returned.
It's so easy to escape from jail in like the 70s.
I don't know. And he does it more than once. So he escapes in the early, like not long after he was put in jail. So late 60s, early 70s. He's caught pretty much immediately and returned to jail. But then he escapes again in 1973. And this time he's on the lam from 73 to 78.
Whoa.
Now let's go back to Camp Scott in 1977.
Oh, no.
Yeah. In this idyllic woodland youth camp full of precious childhood memories, a literal horror story begins.
Oh, God.
So a staff training session is held for the counselors, and the staff notes a few things seem awry. This is like right before people are all arriving. There had been a theft from the dining hall. This is not bunkhouse camping, it's tent camping. So there had been a tent slashed open and a counselor's things had been rummaged through. Bags were scattered all over the tent and some were scattered outside. The camp Seminole unit was ransacked. Donuts were missing.
Not the donuts.
Not the donuts, but inside the now empty box that once held the donuts, a note was found.
Oh, my God.
A counselor at the camp described it as reading, quote, "There were 4 or 5 pages from a tiny note, like Teno notebook. On the first 2 or 3 pages written repeatedly was the word kill. On the 3rd page, the phrase, 'We're on a mission to kill 3 girls,' and then written in all capital letters and signed, 'The Killer.'"
Jesus. Camp's canceled.
That's what you'd think, right? They either camp is canceled, nuked from orbit, or they bring in able-bodied man, woman, they and gentle them, give them swords and guns and swarm the grounds, guard the children 24/7. You know, there's a response.
Because the kids weren't there yet, right?
I think they were like set to arrive like the next day, basically.
Oh my God.
But nope. The camp coordinator decided it was a prank. The Boy Scout camp next door was just too convenient an explanation, but the strange happenings would continue. Thefts, burglaries, girls walking in the night to the sound of a man's heavy breathing just outside their tent. One girl woke to a man inside her tent watching her sleep before running out the tent flap and disappearing into the woods.
Oh my God.
A counselor one night heard a man somewhere off the trail calling, help me, please help me, I'm hurt," as if luring them to the woods. The counselor didn't investigate. They just like let their boss know what they heard.
Oh my God.
And then this guy scurried off. No one found anything. They were defenseless. They're, uninformed. Okay, so this happened in 1977. They get through this situation. Nobody gets hurt. They're just kind of traumatized. Camp starts again the next year, summer of 1978. Jean is still not captured yet.
Oh, God.
Staff not only were actively not given any updated training or provided with any updated security, but they were also actively told not to inform new campers or new counselors of the incidents of the summer before. The camp coordinator said, quote, or a counselor said that, quote, "She, the camp coordinator / their boss, cautioned us not to say a thing of what had gone on the summer before to the counselors that were new. She didn't want them upset." Parents didn't know.
Want them upset. That is not the way you keep people safe.
Nope. So it's June 12th, 1978. Everyone's arriving to camp. Denise Miller did not want to go, but her mom kind of encouraged her to go, drops her off at the bus. There's a counselor on the bus. Her name is Carla Wilhite. And she noticed that Denise is distressed. She's encouraging her and reassuring her, letting her know it's going to be super fun. She promises to ride down on the bus with her and promises to check on the girls, at their tent at night to make sure that they're okay.
How old is Denise?
Denise is like 8 or 9.
Oh, my God.
Or 10. She's 10.
Okay.
She's one of 130-ish girls that arrived for this 2-week sleepaway summer camp. Although the tents could hold about 4 campers each, their unit, tent number 8, only held 3 girls. This tent was the furthest away from the counselor's tent and was partially obscured from view by the showers.
Oh, no.
8-year-old Lori Lee Farmer was among the young girls at the camp, and she befriended Michelle Giese, who is age 9. And Michelle had been there before. She was familiar with this camping experience. And they kind of took Denise Milner under their wing, and the 3 of them were in tent 8 together. Denise was feeling really homesick, and Denise just kind of stuck with these gals. So it's the first night. A thunderstorm is rolling in that afternoon, and so a lot of activities for the afternoon were canceled, so the girls were just kind of sent to their tents and other like bunkhouse areas to write letters home about their experience on their first day.
That's the kind of camp activity I like.
Yeah.
Go to your tent and draw.
Yep. So Sunday, she marks the date. This is Lori's letter home. She says, "Dear Mommy, Daddy, Misty, Jolie, Chad, and Kaylee," I'm assuming they're her siblings, "we're getting ready to go to bed at 7:45. We're at the beginning of a storm and having lots of fun. I've met 2 new friends, Michelle Giese and Denise Milner. I'm sharing a tent with them. It started raining on the way back from dinner. We're sleeping in cots. I couldn't wait to write. We're all writing letters now because there's hardly anything else to do. With love, Lori."
Oh.
Denise wrote, "Dear Mom, I don't like camp. It's awful. The first day it rained. I have 3 new friends named Linda, Lori, and Michelle. Michelle and Lori are my roommates. Mom, I don't want to stay in camp for 2 weeks. I want to come home and see Kathy and everybody. Your loving child, Denise Milner."
Your loving child.
She wanted to go home.
So sad.
I know.
Oh.
Around midnight, that same counselor, Carla, who had been keeping an eye on Denise, was awakened by giggling girls. She got up, escorted them back to bed. That's around midnight. 1:30 a.m., so now it's the morning of June 13th. Carla was again awakened by some noise. She heard a sound in the woods of a, quote, low, guttural, moaning type sound.
Oh, Jesus.
She walked to investigate, but as she approached, the sound stopped, so she returned to her tent. As she turned around, she heard the noise again. So she had like a flashlight with her. She did this back and forth 2 or 3 times with the noise stopping when she shined her flashlight in the direction of where the noise was coming from. And then the noise would start up again when the flashlight turned away.
Oh my God. This is so fucking creepy.
Yeah. She essentially told herself it was an animal and went back to sleep. No one else is awake. She's not going to fucking investigate it by herself. She's a teenage camp counselor.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole situation is tragic, but I don't hold Carla responsible for any of this.
No, there's only one person who's well, that's not actually true.
Well,
but
the camp higher-ups should have been more transparent about theft and like weird stuff going on in the area.
Creepy
and
note in the donut box.
Yeah. But that's not Carla's fault.
No.
So she did state that she could still hear the noise as she was falling asleep in her tent. Other campers also reported hearing this ominous moaning sound around the same time. Around 2 a.m., a camper in tent number 7 was woken up by someone opening the flap of their tent and peeking in with a dim flashlight. Around 3 a.m., a camper heard a scream coming from tent number 8. At the same time, another heard someone crying in the same area of tent number 8.
Oh, my God.
The girls are young and unsure what to do, so they stayed in their tents after hearing these sounds, eventually falling back asleep. And these are little kids.
Yeah.
And if staff or counselors overheard, we're not sure if they did, They didn't investigate it. And if they did hear it, they likely chalked it up to like first night camp jitters and homesickness and crying and trying to scare each other and not able to sleep. Like I could see explaining that away, but like these kids are so young, it's like if they heard something, you'd hope that they would check.
The counselors, yeah. I'm glad that the other little girls stayed in their tent.
Correct. Same. So Carla awoke to her alarm at 6 a.m. and headed to the building with the showers, which is in the same direction of the noises that she'd been hearing the night before in the woods.
And tent number 8.
As she got closer, she saw crumpled sleeping bags and had the thought that she needed to get those sleeping bags hung up so that they could dry out from the storm. Then she saw a girl beside the trail next to a tree and some of the sleeping bags. She first thought that maybe the girl was sleeping, but soon discovered that this was a camper and that she was dead. And it would turn out that this camper was actually Denise, little Denise Milner.
Oh, your loving child.
Yeah. Carla thought that maybe there had been some kind of an accident. She'd wandered off in the dark, run into something, hit her head. I don't know. But like they find out what happened pretty quick. So the camp was roused for a head count. It's discovered that the other 2 girls from Lori's assigned tent number 8 were missing. A search of the campground, really the area where Carla had found Denise, revealed the bodies of Michelle and Lori Lee near the same tree that Denise was found.
Oh my God.
So it's around 10 a.m. Camp Scott is evacuated and would close after 49 years of hosting Girl Scouts and would never reopen after this. The campers are not told why they're heading back after only one night of summer camp. Counselors just told the girls they had to go home. The families of the victims were also not fully informed of what was happening. Lori's parents would later state that they were only told that their daughter had died that night. No other details. They weren't told she was murdered.
That's fucking it? Your daughter's dead?
Yep. We can't tell you anything else yet.
Oh my
or won't.
God.
They weren't told that there were other victims from the same tent.
That is fucked.
Yeah. I would assume the police told them after the fact, but when they were informed by the staff of the camp, they were not given any information other than, we're calling, your child is dead after night 1 of camp.
Oh my God.
The scene with the bodies is so horrific. I cut a lot because I just couldn't do it. But 2 of the girls, Lori and Michelle, were zipped in their respective sleeping bags, and they were kind of curled up and crumpled at the bottom as though the bags had been dragged from their tent, and the bags had a lot of blood on them and in them. Denise, as we know from Carla discovering her, was not in a sleeping bag, and it was believed that she was the only person who might have been alive when leaving the tent, either carried to that location and killed or made to walk to this area with the tree. We're not sure, but I honestly, those are the only details that I could like really bring myself to share. They had been sexually assaulted and beaten, and I believe the cause of death for at least 2 of the girls, certainly Denise, was strangulation.
Were they like stabbed or anything?
No.
So this was all just, there was no weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they were beaten with something. There were certainly weapons, but it wasn't like knife, gun, blunt force object, blunt object. Probably mostly done by hands. There were fingerprints found on the bodies, as well as a flashlight, a piece of cord, and duct tape collected as evidence. 3 fingerprints were discovered on the bodies, but one of the fingerprints would prove to be belonging to an investigator that had been working the scene. The flashlight that was found was large and red, and it was found near the girls' bodies with a piece of garbage bag taped over the lens, which is determined to dim the amount of light that would come through the flashlight.
So when somebody reported a dim flashlight peeking into their tent.
They had taped like a garbage bag and then put like a pinhole in it to keep the light dim.
That's so fucking creepy.
It's so creepy. They also stuffed newspaper inside of the flashlight, like between the canister and the batteries to keep the batteries from rattling so they wouldn't be heard.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ew, that's so gross.
Yeah. And very like meticulous and terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
There was a fingerprint on the lens of the flashlight, but it was too smudged to identify it. Hair found on the duct tape that was found was determined to be similar to that of Gene Hart's. And if we recall, he had escaped with another man named Larry Dry, who had been captured again by the time these murders took place. But Hart was still out free, and this had showed that Hart was able to work with accomplices. And it seemed to investigators that this attack was likely carried out by two men. Dogs were brought in, and it was determined that the killer or killers must have passed the counselor's tent in order to get to tent 8. So, like, they walked right through the grounds while people were sleeping.
Oh my God, that's so fucking creepy.
Yep. Days after the murders, the investigators received tips from local squirrel hunters that were out in the woods. And they had found a cave that was just around 2 miles from the camp. And so officers went to investigate this cave that had been reported because it had weird shit inside of it.
This is so fucking creepy.
Yeah. Inside the cave, they found a roll of masking tape with a piece of plastic stuck to it, matching the tape found at the crime scene. Newspaper that matched with the newspaper that was stuffed inside of the flashlight from the crime scene. Broken sunglasses in a beige vinyl case, and one of the counselors identified the glasses as a pair of hers that had gone missing from the camp.
The summer before?
No, like I think the counselors get there before the kids do.
Yeah.
And so there had been maybe some more burglaries that they didn't know about.
Okay.
Or you know what? I'm sorry. This all happened in 1977. It wasn't the next year that they didn't want the campers to know. It was just before the campers in 1977 arrived. That's my mistake. I'm sorry. So the counselors had gotten there early, and there were these like weird burglaries there. And the lead counselor who's running the camp is like, we're not telling anybody about this. It's a prank from the nearby Boy Scout camp. Campers are arriving in a couple days. Just fucking don't say anything.
Okay. So this is all 77.
This is all 77.
Okay.
And then this happened on night 1. That's my bad. Sorry. I must have mistyped a date and then gotten confused. So yeah, these glasses could have been stolen in any of those burglaries that had happened. What I don't know is if the sunglasses were prescription or not. But like if it were Gene, it wouldn't really matter because he would just be grabbing them and like checking them later.
Yeah.
Like he would be drawn to taking the sunglasses or a pair of glasses, especially if they were in a case. It's like, oh, I'm going to grab this glasses case while this kid is sleeping.
Yeah.
Or this counselor's sleeping. There's probably prescription glasses in here and I need fucking glasses.
Mm-hmm. And if they're in the case, they probably are prescription.
Right. So that adds up.
Oh, God.
There were 2 tattered black and white photographs of 3 women at a formal event, and a prison employee from the prison that Gene escaped from identified them as having been taken at the wedding of the daughter of an employee at Granite Reformatory in 1968.
Ew, what?
It's believed that Hart developed these photographs while serving at Granite Reformatory as he worked in the photo lab as part of a prison work program years earlier.
Oh my God, he took...
I read something too that said that he was actually like present at the wedding and took the photos and then developed them at the prison. But if that's true, that's fucking bizarre and unbelievable.
If he was incarcerated, why would he be at the wedding?
Well, if it's like a prison guard and he's on work release and he works in the photo lab, maybe it's like, I want to get a cheap photographer. You're going to come photograph my daughter's wedding.
Fucking weird.
Right? I know. I don't want to believe that that's true, but that's out there.
Could be. Oh, either way, it's fucking weird and creepy.
I mean, it's not like people of authority in the prison system don't exploit fucking prison labor. It's not out of the realm of belief that they'd be like, you're going to do this task and I don't have to fucking pay you for it. Bye. Yeah. Either way, it's those photos. There were some of those photos found in the fucking cave. And written on a wall in the cave was, quote, "The killer was here. Bye, fools. 77-6-17. So June 17th, 1977.
Bye, fools.
Yep. Gene Hart wasn't found until April 6th of 1978. So after The Girl Scouts murders fueled the search for him.
Like 10 months later.
Yep.
Whoa.
They like amped up the search for this guy who'd already been out since 73 and on the lam. He'd been out for years.
And so they like pretty much knew it was him.
They were very confident that it was him. Larry Dry, his co-escapee, would provide evidence of Hart's behaviors while they were traveling together. But again, Larry was recaptured before these murders took place. So we know that if Jean had an accomplice, it wasn't Larry.
Okay.
But he said that while they were on the run, they would take a flashlight and cover it with plastic or paper and put a pinhole in it so they could move around without a lot of light to avoid attracting attention. Larry also said that Jean had poor eyesight, so while they were out, he would always steal glasses to check their prescriptions. Hart was actually wearing a black framed pair of women's glasses when he was arrested in 1978, stolen glasses.
Good Lord.
During the trial, his defense spun a narrative that Jean Hart was a scapegoat for police, which like could very well be true. Jean Hart was indigenous, so he was a person of color. They accused the investigators of evidence planting, that the prison cop wedding photos were actually planted in the cave by investigators to just make all the pieces stick together.
Okay.
That, among other complications in the trial, the trial was just messy, and it was very much rooted in circumstantial evidence, kind of similar to what happened with your person. Now, I do think that it's very likely that Jean Hart did this. There's nothing that really makes sense to me. And given the testimony from Larry Dry, it adds up to me that he is the person who committed these crimes. But
and did he escape from a prison nearby, and was he captured anywhere nearby?
So this camp is in Oklahoma, and he was in prison in Oklahoma.
Okay. So
near
he did
enough. Escape. Yeah, he did escape and was probably just bouncing between states in the Midwest, but like in that vicinity. I don't know exactly where he was captured, but he was captured.
The glasses thing is so grossing me out. This whole thing is
very strange,
horrific, and I cannot think too hard about those girls.
I know.
I'm glad you did.
I know.
I'm glad for once. I'm glad that
it.
you did not.
No, I couldn't do it. It's truly some of the worst things you could imagine happening to anyone, let alone a child. And I couldn't read it. So just the trial got messy, and the evidence was really circumstantial. We didn't have fingerprints that matched. We didn't have access to the kind of DNA testing that we have now. This is, at this point, it's 1978, 1979. Even like comparing hair samples, they can't pull DNA from that. It was really just like, yeah, that's consistent with being.
Looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like his hair. I mean, we just didn't have the capacity to investigate this fully the way that we do now. So on March 30th, 1979, Jean Leroy Hart was actually acquitted of these murders on lack of hard evidence.
Ooh. But he still goes back to jail because he had 300 years.
Yep, he goes back to jail, and he did die of a heart attack 2 months later lifting weights in the prison yard in Oklahoma's 80-degree heat that summer. So, unfortunately, we didn't truly get to see justice for these girls, but it is pretty widely accepted that Jean did do this and took the details of it to his grave.
I'm sure that you would know if this were the case, but did they keep the hair and the DNA and the evidence so that they could like test it like now that we do have that
It's
technology?
my understanding that they do still have this evidence. I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't see anything that says that this has since been solved. So that could be something that folks could pressure
the authorities.
The authorities in Oklahoma to close this case and retest that evidence. I just don't know who is, who's heading that investigation. And now it's, 79. How many fucking years ago was that?
Don't ask me.
Right. A lot of years ago. So not to make any kind of excuses, we should absolutely be testing everything that we have, but the quality of whatever samples would have been collected at that time may not be very good. Because we didn't have the technology, we don't know if they collected anything with DNA in mind.
Yeah.
There just might not be evidence that is testable other than like the hair that might not have a bulb and the fingerprints that were too smudged to be conclusive.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like he was acquitted because we didn't have that evidence then. And I don't think that we have, even with the technology we have now, that we really have a ton that could be tested.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, I hope it was him that did it.
I really
Otherwise,
do think it was
someone who completely got away.
It's just the locations, the timeline, the glasses, the pictures,
flashlight, the newspaper,
the newspaper matching, the testimony from Larry. I know that some cases have been prosecuted fully on circumstantial evidence alone. I know how hard that is, but like this just really fits.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm with you. I'm just holding out hope that we can get confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just soothing myself that like, yep, it was him. And yeah, he fucking escaped additional charges for this, but he died 2 months later. So the world is rid of someone who could potentially have carried out acts like this to harm children like that. To harm anybody like that is horrifying, but obviously it's just next level when you can do something like this to kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a violent history and targeting young women. It's not like this was out of the realm of possibility. Usually this behavior tends to escalate.
Yeah.
He'd been on the run for years at that point. He's desperate. He's lurking around this fucking camp.
It makes me wonder the escalation going from 2 actual women.
Mm-hmm. Well, very young though, it sounds like early 20s. But yeah,
that's
women,
a big difference
adults.
from an 11-year-old or
yeah,
however. And it scares me to think that escalation happened more over time and there's more victims that were not attributed to him, or that, those crimes have potentially never been solved.
Unfortunately, we've covered cases like this enough times. I almost have to believe that there could be cases, and that there likely are cases, that occurred between 1973 and 1977 of violence against young women and girls in and around Oklahoma that could be attributed to him,
mm-hmm.
and that we may not ever link because of that lack of evidence.
God bless modern forensics, because
I know. It's much harder to get away with that kind of shit now. I mean, it's pretty wild, like, what could fly under the radar and how much we still deal with so much wrongful conviction in our justice system. As we know, it's far from fucking spot on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the advances in investigative technology have been good.
Yeah.
And hopefully will only continue to advance in an ethical and justice-oriented way so that we can actually close cases like this and provide some fucking peace to the surviving members of these families. I mean, I'd have to imagine that these girls' parents are gone now. So there's also that. It's like, what of their family, some of them had siblings,
mm-hmm.
but that responsibility when investigators just kind of stop. I mean, it happened in your case. When they're not doing their job, it falls on the family and the support they can get to make sure that these cases don't just get ignored. And after all these years, like, what community is really left that's advocating for these girls that we didn't really get a solid answer for?
Mm-hmm.
It just fucking breaks my heart. And I am a little glad I didn't go to sleepaway camp, because this is like a literal nightmare scenario come to fucking life.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my case.
I'm glad that the sailing summer camp that I worked at for so long
mm-hmm.
was on an island.
Yep. It was not overnight. And
not
you could
overnight.
Just sail away.
There was only one way on and off that island.
And it was through you.
It was through Charlie the pontoon driver.
Oh, hey, Charlie. So yeah, thanks, Radiance, for
Radiance.
Hope we gave you what you wanted.
Jesus. These fucking fan pics.
Enjoy your bug juice cocktail.
You think that summer camp crimes would have?
I am straight up like, after picking this case, which it was like, okay, well, I've picked it now, so I can't.
I've picked it now.
I've picked it now, but my upcoming cases are much less horrific. My brain and my heart need a rest from, and I feel like, I don't know why, it's almost like my algorithm now when I'm researching is pushing cases that have like violence against children on me. And I need to fucking get that. I need to break out of that because I covered the Hart family from Mommy Dearest. That was gut wrenching. I mean, I'm like,
my God,
in tears by the end of every fucking episode now since lobotomy. So I need to chill. I need to fucking relax.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
As well.
You know, I was trying to step up and make sure that we gave the people what they wanted, but it hurts too much. So I'm going to dial it back for a minute here. All right?
Okay. Put that in writing.
Will do.
Thank you for listening. And thank you, Radiance. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Danielle Sylvan. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Editing by Jonathan Camp. Our production manager is Andrea Gardner. For photos and sources, check out our blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can follow us on all the socials at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support and get access to all sorts of wine-fueled bonus content, visit our Patreon page. Cheers!